Have a great nice meeting you all. Eventually get to you because it's not which the strategies that might have to get
Nice job, Jack.
You guys, as you heard the basics of my background, and it's kind of, that's it. I mean, I've been in it for a while. So, as far as when I'm giving presentations, you guys, the key thing is for you guys to ask questions. Because you're going to find out really quick, I can sit up here all day and just go off about wine, okay? And in particular, Pinot Noir. It's what I do, it's who I am, and it's what I love. So, I'm not going to sit here, I'm going to go over some basics, because she asked me to do that. They lay the ground for some basics of Pinot Noir, representing Burgundy, representing California, representing New Zealand, representing Oregon. And I'll kind of tie that in a little bit of my experience and some of my travels. But I'm going to try to keep that as short as possible. What's more important to me, you guys, is you ask questions. Because if you guys, the more you get out of it, the more attachment to the wines you guys have. And that's really what sets wine apart than anything else, you guys. Because when people really get into it, they learn a little bit more about it, it helps drive that passion. And that passion is exciting, it's fun, it's why you're here, and it's how my kids get shoes on their feet. So it's part of my life. This is not a hobby for me. I'm not a .com guy. There's no options. I make wine, I grow grapes, that's all I have since I was 20 years old. So this is, for me, it's everything I do, it's everything I know, and it's what I really believe in life. And so, besides my children and my wife, this is what I do. So, with that, you heard the background. I was blessed to find the passion of wine when I was 20 years old at Cal Poly. I actually worked for 6 wineries putting myself through college. I had one of those really unique experiences when I'm really excited to give my children this and tell them they get to pay for college. It's part of the deal in my family. So I ended up, a friend of mine worked at Corby Canyon Winery and asked me to work there. And I said, sure, man. God, 21, I like alcohol. Let's go, man. This sounds good. So very quickly, within months, I realized it's a pretty unique experience. I mean, here I am near Pismo Beach, going to Cal Poly. I got to meet a lot of cool people at that time. The wine business, 1991, 90, 91 was pretty unique at that time, pretty small. But I thought, wow, if I could be good at this, I could live at the beach. And that was really what really drove me early on. So I worked for 6 wineries, putting myself through college. And so I worked for Ken Brown and Byron Truly. That's something for me that is absolutely a cornerstone and pillar to my life and to what I do. Ken Brown took me in, I earned his trust, and I got to run programs from him. But I started as a temporary young person just working for him and worked all the way up to assistant winemaker. Ken Brown and the Mondavi family took me to Europe. I got married in Burgundy in France in 1996. Again, Pinot Noir for us was something that was just what we did because we're from around here. And again, we're stretched a little bit from Santa Barbara to San Luis Obispo, but it was our red grape. It wasn't new for us. It was what we do. It was our deal. So for me to get married in Burgundy in '96 just totally made sense. Plus, Mondavi was paying for the trip, so I always liked that part of it. So anyway, I got married in Burgundy there. So I wanted to start kind of the speech and the part of it as far as Burgundy and Pinot Noir. I'm sure you guys know, but I'll review it. You guys, Pinot Noir is Burgundy. A basics of wine is that in California, in North America, and here in our country, we name our wines after the varietal they are. So you go to a restaurant and say, I'd like to have a glass of Pinot Noir, please. And you get Pinot Noir, hopefully. You want Cabernet, then you get a Cabernet. But when you travel Europe, it's a little bit different. They're going to name their wines after the region where they come from. So you step in there and you go, hey, can I have a glass of Pinot Noir? And they're like, I do not know. They don't know. They should. I hope they do it by this point. But my first trip in '96, it was amazing. They did not know. A lot of them didn't know who Robert Mondavi was at that point. It was amazing. They all smoked in the plains too back then. I didn't, but so in Europe they name after the region. So that's what Pinot Noir is in Burgundy. So in Burgundy in France, the red grape is Pinot Noir, and the white grape is Chardonnay. And they really focus on where it comes from. It's Pinot Noir, but is it from a village? It might be maybe Beaune Romanée. And if it's really good, it comes from a certain vineyard. Maybe that's Lee Brulé in Beaune Romanée. And that's what sets the aspect of wine, in particular Pinot Noir, sets it apart because it's very difficult to understand. Because damn Burgundians are very proud of what they've done, and so they make it very difficult. It's one of the hardest regions and hardest grapes to deal with, whether it's learning how to do it, because it's very hard to grow, or learning about it, because it's hard to frickin' understand. You know, in France, in Bordeaux, you go to Bordeaux, and it's Cabernet Sauvignon. That's the red grape of Bordeaux. Sauvignon Blanc is the basic white wine there. Yeah, there's little bits of Malbec, Petit Verdot, Carmenere there, but that's kind of the comparison between the European and the American experience. Pinot Noir is a very old grape. It's one of the oldest grape varietals there are. In fact, it is the parent of Cabernet Sauvignon. It's where it came from in its lineage. We have the great fortune in our state here to have a young scientist who's now retired, so she's been doing it a long time. Her name is Dr. Carol Meredith at UC Davis, and she's one of the foremost authorities in the world in taking the DNA from grapes and learning where it came from. And she's built a database, and she can literally take a grape and tell you where it came from. And so she really has brought a path to us that we did not have before her research was completed at UC Davis. And so we know the lineage of these things, and we know that Pinot Noir is a parent material to Cabernet Sauvignon, which pisses off everybody up in Napa, right? Because the cab, they love the cab, you know. So that's some inputs about Burgundy. It's Pinot Noir is the red grape there. It's very specific on place. One of the things that sets Pinot Noir apart from the other grapes that you deal with in wine is its reflection of where it comes from. Okay? Pinot Noir is the best window to the soil. Okay? That is said for all grapes, because all grapes do respect, when done well, where it comes from. And that's why you guys are here tonight, you guys. That's why wine is how freaking cool it is, because it respects where it comes from. Nobody goes out to the American Apple Society. Okay? Nobody sits around and goes, damn, is this banana from Hawaii or is it from Jamaica? Because that's a great banana. You guys don't care. As long as it's cheap and it tastes good, you buy it. But with wine, you do want to know. Because when done well, it respects where it comes from. So tonight we got to taste some wines from New Zealand. We got to taste some wines from Oregon. We got to taste some local wines here from both San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara County. And I think as you go through, were those wines different, you guys? Show me. Yeah. Is there any favorites here so far?
Yes. We're not done yet.
Not done yet? Okay. All right. Well, you guys get up there, and I'll keep going my little thing. Any questions yet, you guys?
I do want to say, anybody just pop up anytime and walk up and get another glass. You're not being rude. This is part of
the deal, exactly. So.